Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion, and I am Peter. And you guys, we are finally in the off season for our coverage of Cobra Kai. And with our first episode, we're returning to do a top five list episode. And this is actually what we're going to be doing for a while here before we start doing anything else Cobra Kai related. But we'll kind of get into some other news and updates soon as well. On the other mic, you guys have heard him before, is Watch Party. How you doing, sir?
I am happy to be here. I'm very good. Still on the road. I am in a hotel room actually. So, but
Oh, are care
I'll
to
be back
disclose
soon.
what state you're in?
Um, I'm in a state I came to because I've never been to before.
Ooh.
It is sparsely populated.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Still in the
Yellowstone?
Central Time Zone? Yeah,
That's a good
Yellowstone's a city.
guess.
Yeah. Wait,
No,
wait.
actually, I was thinking
You
Montana.
said state.
Montana. Well, that is a sparsely populated state. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I'm a
Well,
big
yeah.
Yellowstone fan, and I'm not supposed to be talking. My
That's,
bad.
that's quite all right.
What, Peter? What's going
Yes.
on?
Oh,
Who's this third person? What?
yes, you guys, we have a special guest. This is Devin from Edit That Out podcast. He is also a former co-host of mine over at We Got Five. How you doing, Devin?
I don't. I'm glad you asked. I didn't think you'd ask me. I'm fantastic. I don't like the tone that you used former with. Like, you're still my brother, so
Right. But
I
I
feel
said
like
former co-host. Like we had
no,
this
because
is the first.
we could just because we got five is on hiatus doesn't mean that we're not co-hosts any longer.
Okay, that's fair.
So
But
you put it in the past. Like I dropped this guy, guys. I dropped this guy and moved on to bigger and better things, as you see. And I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. I guess it's
oh,
over. I guess that's never
hold
coming
on.
back.
When's the last time we did an episode? Like 2017?
Look, I've had a lot of life thrown at me since then.
Yes, yeah.
So besides that, I feel like we could at some point, any point, just pick it back up. I
I
never
think
said it was
yeah,
canceled, but
that's true.
apparently in your mind, it's canceled. So
I
I'm Hoyt. I am Hoyt. Your name's
okay,
Watch Party. Watch
yeah.
Party. I am Hoyt, and it is clearly on my person right now. So that might be reflected throughout the rest of this podcast because Peter just broke up with me in front of everybody and didn't tell me.
It was like, no, I divorced you 5 years ago, and you're like, no, we're
Right?
in this for life, man.
I'm like, whoa,
I
okay.
never got those papers. When was that announced?
Right.
Did we
I
have
did.
a cancellation in episode?
Right. I did switch addresses. I am in a different state. But geez, like I
It
thought we
sounds like you
was
moved away
brothers
from me.
forever. Right.
No,
I'm
we still
actually
are. We still are.
but I technically closer to you now? I guess I
Oh
am
no.
technically.
Are you also in a sparsely populated state? I mean,
Is Ohio sparsely populated?
I did not know you were up in
I,
Ohio. Are you near
I
Columbus? Near
two
near
hours.
Jessica
I'm in
Andrews?
sparsely populated city. Have you seen what's the Amazon show?
Reacher.
My boy. My boys. The boys.
Oh, the boys.
Oh,
No,
Yeah.
I've
the
only seen the
boys. Yeah, that's
first few episodes of the first season.
The fish guy, they sent him to Fremont in Ohio. That's where I'm at,
Oh,
basically.
I was gonna say there's a Fremont, California. There's a anyway.
kind of a
So
Right
common
on.
name. Yeah.
yeah. Well, okay. So the
If you
reason
watch
I
The
have
Boys, then that's where I'm at.
ish, I do want to finish it or whatever. There's a lot of shows that I want to watch and finish.
Right.
But anyway, so we're gonna be doing top five list show. I don't think we're looking to have like a guest on every episode, but for the I don't know, I guess the inaugural episode for the Cobra Kai edition, I wanted you back at some point because you and I we hosted a top five list show called We Got Five, over 100 episodes. Um,
Ended
That was
five
fairly
years
canceled.
ago.
That was canceled 5 years
It
ago, according to
ended for
Peter.
one of you. If the other, it's on
Right.
hiatus. Yeah.
Right.
on hiatus. Okay, all right. Maybe I just need to use that term for now. But a lot of things
So Devin gets
happen
comfortable with
when
it.
kind of like the last few episodes. Maybe even that last year that we were actually recording. But my first co-host over at Cobra Kai Companion was Tom, and you and I we met Tom together when
Hmm.
him and his co-host Jake um came on our show, and they came on a few episodes, one of which was like top five movie sequels. And I'll spoil it now, but my number one was Karate Kid Part Two. So, it was always
On
kind of in the
purpose?
peripheral. Yes, we'll get there, maybe. Um,
Right.
and well, the other fun thing is that like, you've kind of seen my journey for having like collaborated with me many a times in the past. Um, and also, oh gosh, I had a point I was trying to get to. You're outside of the fandom of the Karate Kid Cobra Kai fandom, so I think it's always interesting to
That's
speak
another
to
show. That's
somebody.
number shade number two.
Well, I
I
was
love
okay.
this show now.
Yes, you do, but I
And
don't see
movie.
you
Well,
like,
two of them.
like I don't see you out on social media, talking to us, and you know what I mean. Like that's what I'm talking about in terms of
Let me
like,
ask you a question.
okay,
Knowing me as long as you have known me, what are some of my favorite subjects?
definitely not reading because your motto is read less.
Right, that's a fact.
Um, Snow bunnies. That's a
Right. Okay.
right.
Besides women and that are of the Caucasian persuasion, what else? What else do I like?
Television.
Yes. Do I have a favorite show?
Game of Thrones was
Right.
yes.
Right. So do you see me talk about Game of Thrones on the interwebs all the time?
Not all the time, but like I see you like
Never.
interacting in the threads and the posts on Facebook and
I
stuff.
enter I recently, I don't know how long ago was that, like right when I had to do, when did I do those threads for those Cobra Kai, not Cobra Kai, Karate
Last
Kid movies?
last winter, I think it was like back in December.
Yeah, I watched those movies. I
You did. Thank
participate.
you. Thank you.
Right.
I
My
sent some
social
screenshots
media
to Watch Party.
presence
He
as
did. He
I've
did. Yeah.
changed, my social media presence has gone down, even though I
This is true.
still look at social media.
Okay.
So I'm a fan. I'm
Okay.
all in. I'm
All right. Yeah,
all in.
yeah, yes, you
I
are. Look at
got
that. You just used a episode title. That might have been on purpose.
oh no, it wasn't, but because that's not one of my episode titles. But I love this show, and I am a huge fan of several characters, especially Miguelito. I love him so much. So Blue Beetle,
Uh,
Black Beetle, which Beetle is he?
Blue Beetle. He's blue. Blue Beetle. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. I don't want to be racist.
So, well, I think that's funny that you call him that because I don't believe he's called that on the show. But I know like Sholo gets called Sholito, right? I don't know if he gets called Miguelito. He gets
No,
Oh, I
called
don't know. I
Miggy.
saw
not on
that.
the show. No.
No, yeah, I saw like these recaps. They refer to him as that.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so I tried
Miggy. He gets called Miggy.
Miggy, right, by his
Yeah.
mom mainly. But Devin, I did tell you about the show back in 2018, which by the way, both you
Right,
and I, we kind of kicked off the TV at My Brain podcast with our coverage of Fuller House.
right.
And the creators, they had talked about when Fuller House was coming back to Netflix, they saw like billboards of Kim and Gilder. And it's like, you know what? Why can't Johnny make a comeback? And that's kind of what started it. So it's funny that you and I, we did Fuller House, and then I ended up going on to cover Cobra Kai as well. But so I was trying to get you on back in 2018. What took so long?
That's the crazy thing is, I was like, Peter in some whack shit. So he likes Back to the Future and Back to the Future. So I'm not gonna like this show.
But you
So
watched
I'll
the first
watch
two
it
movies of Back to the Future.
because you made me.
Yes.
Uh, Biff got hosed.
Yes, he does. The second movie.
Uh, right, right. Still haven't watched that Western yet. I can't make myself do it yet.
You like Yellowstone. It's like Yellowstone with a time
I
machine.
do like Yellowstone, but without the racism.
I've never seen Yellowstone, so but I hear it's
Oh,
good.
I wouldn't say it's like Yellowstone with the time.
Okay.
okay.
That's fair. But
I love
anyway,
those.
like
I tend to love problematic white people with am I gonna get canceled? I'm gonna stop that. Just
oh
edit
man,
that out.
you're
Edit that out.
and that's why you have a show called Edit That Out because
Right,
it's what your
right,
co-host would always say to you.
right, right. So I'm just gonna cut that white slander out of here because I don't want to be canceled.
So one of the things, okay, I agree with that. I don't want you getting canceled. One of
Right,
the
right.
things that I can attribute this show to you are Is that am I phrasing that correctly? One thing that you taught me over the time that we podcasted together was you taught me to give like less shit about what people think. Um, that,
I
but
taught you that.
also if you recall when we first started, we got five. Like we had an actual day of the week that we would release new episodes, right? Like it'd be like every Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah.
And
At
I
3
was like,
p.m.
oh God, no. Actually, there was no time,
Oh,
but
Right.
I would,
amateurs.
yeah,
Right.
but I would be up like super
Late
late. I
at
would kill
night.
myself late at night just editing, trying to make that deadline. And it was
Yeah.
Devin that's just like, who cares? It's just put it out. The people who like the show, they'll listen to it when they listen to it. There's no, who cares? So I stopped caring less about the actual release day, just that,
Be
when I can
consistent.
get to it. Yeah, that's it. So I don't know.
I'm glad I taught
I
you something. I will, for future references, call you my son.
Okay, even though I'm older.
Right,
And
right,
and
right.
also the very first episode we ever recorded together is when you were a guest on my show, which was then Hydrate Level 4, now Nostalgic. We covered Major League. Okay. I don't know if you picked up on this or if I told you, but in episode 401 of Cobra Kai, when Kreese goes to see Silver for the very first time, they kind of filmed it kind of like in Major League when Jake goes to follow, I forget Rene Russo's name in the movie, but he
His
follows
wife
her.
to the
Well,
library.
well, no, to her boyfriend's apartment, his
Oh,
loft.
and he just shows up. Oh, right,
Yeah, he
right.
just shows up and walks in like that. It was filmed in a very similar way in as Major
Oh,
League, that first episode, if you think about it. So that's something we
okay.
learned from the creators.
Okay.
Um,
Is this a
all right.
Cobra
Renee
Kai
Russo.
podcast? What do we?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. We're definitely gonna get there.
We're just going through our history.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's it's
My
just Devin
bad.
and I. We literally haven't recorded an episode in years together.
Because
So
you
okay.
canceled it.
Ever since you divorced him, like this.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so all right, we're going to talk about cliffhangers. Episode cliffhangers. So, let me read the definition that we kind of decided on. Devin, I just kind of told you, but watch
Right.
part you and I, we decided this one sounded the best. I don't think that was it. Hold on one sec. This is great podcasting. Okay, so it says a cliffhanger a cliffhanger or cliffhanger ending is a plot device which features a main character in a precarious or difficult dilemma or confronted with a shocking revelation at the end of an episode. Okay, so watch party I mean that's pretty much layman terms, but do you have a simpler way of explaining that or
It's
yeah.
something, yeah, like dangerous or bad, you could even think, like for a character. Like so Cobra Kai definitely has a lot of great endings that transition into the next episode, but a lot of them are ending on a high note or something where it's not like danger or I think something bad, although definitely it has the cliffhangers too. So I mean I guess we'll find if how we all interpreted it. I think I was trying to be really um strict on that sort of interpretation or definition because there's a lot of great like transitions or stuff that ends on a high note but isn't really what I would call a cliffhanger. So
Right,
we'll find out.
right. Devin, did you have any other interpretation of that of when I sent that definition to you?
Uh, just the way the episode ended.
Okay. Did you have any particular criteria and how was it coming up with your list?
It was very hard. I was shaking at the thought of being new, not involved in the fandom, of course, if you let me know many times on this show already. And so I was kind of nervous when you told me the topic, and I'm like, can we do something easier? Because I hadn't watched an episode since I binged what season now? 5?
Yeah, so if I just ended.
But yeah, so I was like, and I watched it all the way, like in how many days? Or no, I watched the first 4 seasons first.
Yeah, you watched the first four seasons in maybe like 8 days, I
It
feel.
wasn't it wasn't long. And
Yeah.
so I went through that whole thing, and then I watched season 5 like in over a weekend. I remember. And so I hadn't revisited. I've seen episodes here and there, like my favorites, but I didn't know like episodes like So I was
Hmm.
scared that my fandom would be made fun of or ridiculed even like coming on with you two Titans. So I was very nervous about this.
Okay. All right. Which party was your list difficult coming up with? And did you have any criteria?
It was a little bit hard, and there's one I think I downgraded on where it falls on the list. And I'll explain when we get to it. It's my number 5 actually. But that yeah, I think like for me, I was just running through the episodes in my head again and again, like trying to think what is good, and then when I find something, where do I place that on the list? Of course, it's also the placement. You want to get the placement right, and so yeah, I think it was a little bit harder just because I was trying to also be very strict on it's an
Right.
actual cliffhanger and just not like a cool ending.
Right, right. So for those that maybe even listened to We Got Five back in the day, shout out to Sensei Pialani, who was definitely a listener, and she guested on a few of those
Hey,
episodes.
boo.
So we played a little loosey goosey with our criteria, and I remember a lot of 1As and 1Bs, or something like that. Devin, like you having some sort of weird rankings and whatnot. So I was not as strict. So what the difficult part was narrowing it down to our top five plus our three honorable mentions. So what I did was I went through every single episode, but only jumped to the very last scene and watched every single one of them. And I would jot down the title of the episodes where the ending gave me like a strong feeling, more so like suspense or like something like that. Not so much like a high note. So, but the difficult part was kind of bringing it down. I originally had listed 16 episodes, so I did get it down to 8. So Devin, you are our guest. Why don't you kick it off? And we're going to count down, starting with your number 5.
So I had, by the way, before I'm gonna give you like a little background on my list. I should have did that earlier, I guess, when you asked me that question. But I'm rusty because I've been divorced out of podcasting for 5 years. So
With Peters, but yeah.
right. So I'm a little rusty here. Um, I had two things off the bat. Like I knew in my head, I was like, they stuck out in my head when you said that.
Okay.
The next two, I had to go through and like formulate, and then the last one, I just flew by the seat of my pants, and I was like, I guess that makes sense. So just want to put that out there. Don't judge
Okay.
me, fandom. I'm new.
So your
So
number 5? Yeah.
so all right. So number 5, season 5, episode 10, Head of the Snake. This ninja Kreese is alive and kicking, walking out in these streets, and Terry Silver goes to jail. And how will season 6 top this craziness? Now, the fact that this ninja is out here alive, I'm like, come on. I was like, okay, we killed him. I like that. And then he's alive. Terry Silver's gone. So is he completely gone? Are we done with him? Can he just? I mean, you know how certain people just walk through life with a certain privilege.
Sure.
So maybe Kreese could get away with this, but I'm like, you're still supposed to be locked up. So you just can't just come back and start teaching karate like nothing happened, right? So I'm
Right.
like, is he just out here trying to kill niggas? Or, excuse me, ninjas. Now, so I'm just like, how are we gonna top this? What are we going? So I was like, you know what? I'm ready for season 6. So that is my number 5 on this list of 5 cliffhangers.
I like how
Okay.
you relate him as a ninja because he's in disguise the way ninjas do. So
Right, right.
because
That's
he's wearing
exactly
the
what I meant by
doctor's
that.
clothes. Yeah.
Right. Yo, he played.
Um,
He thought he played that doctor so smooth with it, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, "Got you, bitch. I knew you was faking the whole time." And he was like, "Oh shit."
I
So yeah,
that's an interesting one you went with because like I understand why you would have that on the list, but to me, I'm just like it didn't give me that strong like cliffhanger feel because I was like, man, it wrapped up a little too clean. But the whole crease reveal that he did that it was a fake out that
It's like a
I guess
twist
that
ending. It was
yeah,
like
it was like a twist ending. Yeah, yeah. So I can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Watch
I
party.
didn't
By the
include
way,
that because I didn't consider it a cliffhanger at all because who's in jeopardy? It's not.
apparently, whoever's he about to go dick wreck or something. I have no idea because again, he
The
should be
valley is in
incarcerated,
jeopardy.
right? Like he can't. No one's putting out an APB or a bulletin. I don't know what cop terms are used, but
Yeah.
he's out here in these streets just walking down like nothing, assumingly barefoot. Like where they do that at? Did that nigga?
No.
I'm sorry.
Well, I
Did he
mean,
have on Tim's?
no. I mean, he still could have been wearing the same shoes he was wearing. I don't think he like changed into the
Did they give you
doctor's
jail
shoes.
shoes? I feel like you just wear like those
What, some sort of slippers or something? Or
those flip flops that they give you when you get your pedicures.
flip flops? No, I'm
What are
I'm sure
those
he's
things? You know what I'm
wearing
talking about? Them
Yeah,
regular
some sort of
slides,
sneakers or
gym
something.
prison
shoes.
slides. I've never been to jail. I can't go to jail. If I do, they'll fuck me.
Anyway, I don't know what shoes he's wearing. But also, like, if you think about like the parking lot, you know how they had that one detective who seemed to know everything. He gave like
Mm,
all the exposition. He can't just walk around, right? Because like you would assume that like a lot of the cops kind of know like, oh, John Kreese, he died, but word's gonna get out quick that he eventually escaped. So
Mhm.
everyone knows what he looks
right.
like. But you're right,
All they have
yeah,
to do is see him walking into a dojo and be like, either he's dead or supposed to be incarcerated. One of the two. And
Mhm.
right,
I would assume that they would call the police, but I don't know. Who knows?
yeah. I like
This
it.
is a country where you can get indicted and never mind.
Yes, this yes. Watch
I caught
party.
myself. I'm learning.
Yeah. What do you have for number five?
For me, I put as my number 5, season 4, episode 9, The Fall. Miguel breaks his back and falls. Definitely a big sort of cliffhanger moment, I think, at the end of that moment, maybe even would have ranked higher. I downgraded this one though. It actually kind of is a cliffhanger. It's an episode ending where the first time I watched it, I was kind of like freaked out, scared, on the edge of my seat, what's happening. I was not ready for that. I didn't think they were going to go that route. But part of the reason I'm not is because it's actually a little bit of a cheat. And so I don't, it kind of annoys me because actually when you watch it, they have a cracking sound. But there's no cracking. Then they're just like, oh, you just pulled a muscle. Well, pulling a muscle doesn't sound like. I wish I should have brought a prop with me for that sound effect.
So
Like,
some celery,
so
just
yeah,
break some
yeah.
celery sticks.
So it's kind of a cheat. It gets you in the moment, but it's the sort of thing when you rewatch. I don't get that again on a rewatch.
Y'all remember
So it
those
was
things as
one time.
kids? Those bracelets that used to like slap on your wrist that it just
slap on
Uh-huh.
bracelets. Yeah, I think my nephew still
yeah
has some. He was showing
yeah
it
that's
to
We
that's
have
what his
some.
back did.
me.
Pretty much. I don't know what it was, but I didn't get affected like in that way where I didn't think like, oh my God, it's happening again kind of thing. I don't remember what I was feeling, but I know I was just kind of like, well, that's interesting. And maybe in my mind, I was just like, I know there's one more episode, so I didn't like overreact, so to speak, you know?
That tracks for you, Peter, because clearly you are a cold-hearted individual that I didn't think that you were, and it is showing increasingly as we go through this podcast. Now, question I
Yes.
should have asked because I haven't podcasted in 5 years, but if we do have similar things on our list, because I'm gonna say that did hit on my list, how do we handle that? I don't know if you need to edit this out,
Yeah, no. We'll just leave it. But
so don't comment on it. Wait till it gets to me.
you can comment a little bit, but I guess it may come up again. More on that later, perhaps. Type of
Right,
thing.
right.
Yeah. I don't know if I really got into I think I said right, like yeah, basically strong emotions. Okay, so this may come up on one of your guys' list. I'm not sure, and looking at it, I feel like it might be a little. I always forget which way. High is this? No, a little low, right? A little low, like it should be higher, right?
Right.
Okay, so but I'll it's already listed. I have season 1, episode 10, Mercy, the reveal of John Kreese actually alive after all. Um, it's definitely the cliffhanger that sticks out the most from season one. And Johnny had the one line in episode 7 where he's like, John Kreese is dead, or whatever the line was. And so that's kind of what we all thought, right? A few episodes later, we kind of forget about that, and Cobra Kai wins. But there's all these emotions that we're feeling, whether it's like, well, Miguel is kind of going a little dark, but also kind of happy for Johnny, I guess. And then out of nowhere, Kreese shows up, and you're just like, what the hell, and just can't wait for season 2. So, Mercy, what do you guys think? Too low? Well, maybe more on
Too
that later.
high, too high.
Yeah, too high.
Yeah, more later.
Okay. All right.
I'm
So,
gonna go in my Peter bag. It didn't affect me at all.
oh, okay. Well, but you know what? You were probably spoiled though, right? I mean, it's been a few years. So, did you know that he was going to show up again at some point anyway?
No. So when I watched season one, I'm trying to think, had I even seen well, I guess I had seen
Posters or
the original Karate Kid, I guess, but it's not like all the characters stuck out in my head.
right,
So
right.
I had no like skin in the game. I was outside the fandom at that point. So
Sure.
I was like, oh, who's this old guy? He's wrinkled.
So you didn't even know that was actually Kreese, who was recently referenced in one of the episodes, or even in the flashbacks. You just
They really didn't even stick out in my head, honestly.
okay,
Like maybe I noticed him as the sweep the leg guy, maybe, but
okay, all right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We have to go
that's
back
fine.
to
That makes
it's
sense.
worth asking. I should ask Drew Cobra Kai Kid because he's someone who watched the show before seeing the movies.
Right.
How people who hadn't seen the movies reacted to that moment because I think it would be kind of confusing if you
Yeah,
didn't know who he was.
that's a good point.
Yeah, so
That's a very good point. Yeah, because I know they did a lot of flashbacks, but even then, like if you just because it's been so many years, and if you hadn't seen Martin Cove since the Karate Kid and only in the flashbacks, then yeah, maybe you didn't put two and two together immediately.
mm.
All right, Devin, back to you for your number 4.
Number 4. Let's go to season 3, episode 10. Season finale is on here. All right, December 19th.
mhm.
This I got a shout out to a mutual friend of ours, Liz. She did help me with this one.
Okay.
This is not Johnny. What's
Yeah, it's Johnny.
Oh yeah, he was all upset
Mhm.
and beating Kreese's ass, and no, Danny was beating Kreese's ass,
Yes,
and
yeah,
he was
yeah,
helping Johnny. They were about to jump him,
right.
and then Robbie comes out is like, "I'm joining Cobra Kai, and we're gonna have this agreement to fight at the All Valley next year of who goes away." And I was like, "Oh shit, it's on." So also, this scene bothered me because as bad as he got his ass whooped, Kreese, like his blood was just on his chin, and I'm like, I feel like I wanted him to be leaking more than he was. Like I hate this guy with a passion that burns deep within my soul, and I
Give
thought
me your biggest reason why. Why do you hate him? What's
he's
your
a
biggest
terrible
reason?
person.
Okay.
That I mean, like you want me to give me like episode specific to why he's a terrible person?
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
an example. Yeah.
he's a manipulative to children. He uses them for his own personal gain because he's a small person. So he brings them down into the abyss with him. I think that's shitty all the way around. Um, yeah, I just feel like he's just a bad guy.
Okay.
Like when you
All
look
right.
up villain, it's this guy. I mean, that's just how I
Does he
feel.
have his hands on his shirt
Right,
too? Like
right,
on
right.
the
Is gi or is that what
yeah,
it's
right.
called?
Yeah.
I did take
Yeah.
taekwondo once upon a time.
Oh, look at that. Watch
Right.
part, didn't you take Taekwondo also?
I did.
See?
You would call it a
Impressive.
uniform though, or in Taekwondo because gi would be more Japanese or
Righty.
karate.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Because I do know Asians.
Mhm.
My Devin, your favorite offspring of mine, Preston, he is in Taekwondo. And he
Ah,
just recently corrected me also because I referred to his uniform as a gi.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Also,
he's
another favorite member of your family, your sister. Big fan of her.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Are we not
Basically,
allowed to?
all of them except Peter, right?
Well,
Yeah.
since he divorced me,
Yeah.
so yeah.
All right. Watch party back to you for your number four.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I had
Yes.
one more thing.
Go
Oh, okay.
Robbie's a piece of shit too.
Well, still or up until that point?
At that point, when he was,
Right.
come on, man, you know, Kreese is a bad guy.
Right. Right.
Actually, Devin, I got to say, I like your choice because I thought through the end this episode and I thought, well, does anything cliffhangery? No, but I guess if you actually look at it, if you look at it from the Robbie perspective, Robbie
Mhm.
joining Crease, that could be the cliffhanger part where it is like, what happens next? Like,
Also, he called that
I
nigga
think-
or that guy. I'm sorry. He called that guy. Come on, son. Like really,
Right. Right.
bro.
His choice of
Yeah.
words.
yeah,
I would have slapped like what's the his daughter's name?
His daughter.
LaRusso's.
Sam?
Yeah.
Sam.
She's like, Dad, stop. I would have slapped the taste out of his mouth as soon as he said son. Because you know that is unnecessary. I already whooped your ass up and through this dojo. You want me to do it again? Like for real. Like that was just some dirty shit though. Am I wrong?
Oh no, you're absolutely right.
Dylan.
That's a really good pick.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
it's quite
ahead.
right.
it's a good.
Yeah. No. I love hearing your opinion.
I
All
love
right.
giving
Watch
it. Thank
party.
you.
Number four to you.
Number 4. Okay. I went with one. Let's see here. Season 1, episode 3, Esquilito. Johnny
Ooh, good
finds
one.
Miguel beat up by the Kyler and gang. I liked
I
this
considered
one.
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked this one. I went with it because I think it was still early and it was like the cliffhanger that got you to keep watching because the first time you're going through it, like you're hooked on it, but like the season 1, I still call like about his perfect season. And that's just, it really was like the push. It was also like episode 3 was like the episode you had to sign up for YouTube Red, like
Right.
on the first time. So it's like, was it worth it? Am I still going? And it just like it was like such a moment. And I loved it. And it's such great storytelling. I mean, I could go on about it because like Miguel thinks he's getting stronger, and then he fights Kyler, but still gets beat up again. And there's this massive moment for Johnny too, because he sees what happened. And then, he's and what's going to happen with his mom, because we already established earlier she doesn't approve of violence. So yeah, definitely a great cliffhanger on this one, and I sort of like this, so I put it in the 4th spot.
Yeah. No, it's a really great pick. I don't have it at all. I'll throw that out there now, but I really heavily considered it. It's a perfect episode, and it's the shortest of the season. And they were able to tell a very compelling story, and I just love, like how like Miguel's been training, and I guess as an audience, we just like, oh well, episode 3, yeah, why couldn't he take on these guys by now? But yeah, we learned very quickly, and so did he, that even in the Miyagi verse, his karate won't come along as fast as we had hoped. So yeah, it's just also like we talked about like strong like emotional feelings or whatever. Yeah, Miguel just got his ass whooped, but also like Johnny, like you just failed this kid. You're out here promoting for your dojo, and this kid was caught by himself and got beat up, and he was there to see the results of that. So yeah, really good one. Devin, do you have any comment on Escaleto? Maybe more
No,
later.
that I remember that now. That was not in my list. So yeah.
Let's see. My number 4 is one of my favorite episodes. It comes from season 2, episode 9, Pulpo. And the very specific cliffhanger is Johnny opens up the door to find Robbie and a drunken Sam, who had just left the house party, fleeing from cops. So the reason I have it here is because Johnny and Robbie has had so little interactions up until this point, and when they have, it hasn't been very nice. Like I'm thinking about like earlier in the season when Johnny and Miguel are at what, Lowe's or Home Depot. I kind of forget. I know it's blue, so was that kind of Lowe's adjacent? But just a lot of their interactions haven't been very good, and obviously Robbie likes Sam a lot. He doesn't want her to get in trouble. So the only place he could think of is to take him to his dad's house, where him and his dad don't have a very good relationship right now. So I remember seeing that, and I was just like, I need to see what happens in the next episode.
I'm can oh can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will mention that is in my honorable mentions. And when we get to the next, I was like, oh my God, this can't be good. And it didn't get good. Or it got
Oh,
good, but it didn't end well.
right.
Because
And
Johnny's not good with making parental decisions. And he handled it about as good as I think he would.
right. And then there's all like these other things too that kind of open up with episode 10, with like Sam wearing like the faded Cobra Kai shirt,
Mhm.
because she has slept there. So yeah, it was just a wild cliffhanger, especially the way that episode started off, because that was also the double date at the Mexican restaurant.
Right.
So yeah, and then the house party with the drinking, Edward 40 hands. So yeah,
Want to
huge
write this
cliffhanger.
down? She's gonna forget stuff.
Hmm.
The double date when they went to the Mexican restaurant. That's how
Oh,
they
right.
bonded.
Yeah. Is
See
that one of your pet peeves too?
what? Not writing it down?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's the creators. They also don't like that, so they wrote that in because they
Ah,
also, yeah,
they're
they're
gonna
not a
get
fan of
something
that.
wrong.
Yeah. All right. So back to you, Devin, for number three.
All right, we're flying. Let's go to the first episode, season 1, episode 1. Ace Degenerate. Johnny decides to open the JoJo by putting the check back together, and we get rolling on this whole roller coaster of emotion that is Cobra Kai. That is my number 3 cliffhanger of this series so far.
I considered it, but it's because it's more of that high note. Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen because it kicks off everything, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the only
You know
reason
what the
it did become
crazy is?
this.
I get that, but like, and thinking about this is why, because I was like, man, I feel like to me, being a newbie to the fandom, I felt like every episode is a cliffhanger to me because I'm so detached of the fandom. So
Okay.
I almost felt like everyone could be. That's why it was hard to pick one. But this one was like, yeah, like this is getting into the namesake. This like some real shit's about to happen. Like
Yeah,
he's getting rid of his pride. He's putting the check back together. Let's do something.
you kind of made an interesting comment, because it's almost like, I can't speak for Watch Party. Like for someone like myself, it's almost expected of me. Like I'm supposed to like all these episodes, right? And so
Right.
for you, who you didn't really grow up with these characters, like you kind of casually know some of them through pop culture and whatnot, but like
Mm,
you're kind of going through each episode, like, will I eventually get to one where I don't like because I'm not part of this family? Like something like
mm,
that. Yeah. Okay.
kind of like
Interesting.
I feel like one episode I don't like might get me canceled in your group.
Okay, then we won't talk about it.
Nah, it's the reunion episode. I hated that episode.
Oh, I get it. I can understand that one. I think there's people that
Like
don't like that one.
this took me out. I'm like,
Yeah.
can we get back to the story, please? I'm invested in the story, please. I don't care about these old guys.
Oh,
It's like,
I,
what's
It
that?
is.
What's
It
that
is
John?
like a side quest. Yeah.
Right. What was that
Mhm.
old movie with all the John Travolta? Is it Robin Williams?
Wild
RVs or
Hogs.
well,
Yeah.
that's it. Wild Hogs.
Oh. Mhm.
Yeah. Not gonna watch that because it's just like,
I
why?
mean, I
Why
watched
see
that
them like
episode of
that?
Wild Hogs.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
mean, I didn't watch Wild Hogs, so I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this to myself. And
that's a
watching that
shame.
episode, I was like, why did they do this to me? But I feel like there's a moral of that story of that episode, but I forgot what it was. I'm sure you told me there was a reason for it, but
Yeah,
I
well, I
forgot.
mean, during the passing of Tommy, you also had Kreese addressing the class in the dojo, and he's talking about how Cobra Kai never dies, and that they will all be Cobras basically for the rest of their lives, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which party? Any other comments on that episode or that cliffhanger?
Episode 1. Well, it is my favorite part of episode 1 for sure. But
Mm,
the ending sequence and such. yeah, I didn't think of it as a cliffhanger either, but I do think it's a really powerful ending to the first episode. So
Absolutely.
for
The
sure.
stencils, the
Yeah.
putting the headband back on.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Watch party to number three to you.
Number three, this will sound familiar. Season 2, episode 9, Pulpo. Robbie
Ah,
shows up at Johnny's apartment with pass out drunk Sam. Yeah, so I had the same one essentially that you did, mostly essentially for the same reasons. It's kind of like, I think I try to remember it also like the first time I watched it, and I thought like that was like an oh shit moment for me. Like
oh,
I didn't see
absolutely.
it coming. Like you just didn't see it coming, and it's by I love the thing where it's by surprise, but it makes sense, and it like you makes sense. You understand why he did that, why he brought her there, and so yeah, it was just a great like what's going to happen next, and of course we know. Um, we get our first little fight here between Daniel and Johnny in the next episode. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a great oh shit moment, a great sort of cliffhanger, a lot of fun, get a lot of mileage out of it for YouTube videos and everything. So yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely I really enjoyed it and I thought it's a great moment.
It is a great moment. I did not say this earlier, but when I was actually going through my list, I was definitely thinking most of these reactions definitely gave me either oh shit or what the fuck, so I
Mhm.
had to not had to have, but they were I definitely had those type of reactions because remember like strong emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
My number three is more of a recent episode. It's in season 5, episode 1, Long, Long Way from Home. Basically, Kreese or not Kreese, Silver is addressing a bunch of new hirees or potential recruits or whatever. It's going down the line, and we see Chosen at the end of the line. Like, what? Like, Chosen, what the hell are you doing there? And going into season 5, I had the theory of Chosen dying. Had no idea if and when it was going to happen, and if I was going to be correct. Like, it could have been any episode, and I was like, was this like the first domino? Him being there. So yeah, seeing Chosen in a white gi inside the Cobra Kai dojo, in front of Terry Silver, who doesn't know who he is. Um,
I have to
in
ask you a question.
yes,
Is Chosen really in danger?
he could have been. He could have been.
He's chosen Taguchi.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Like there's no danger there. Like I consider that a high point. Like it's cool. Like
But even I mean, you can't deny that in episode 2, when he goes to Terry Silver's house, it's just mano y mano. Like, were you
mhm.
not scared for him at that point?
No,
Oh,
I
come on. I mean, I guess I don't know, or I may have forgotten, but did you think it was possible that Chosen was going to die?
I did. I made a video on it. I think I also suspected
Yeah, I did
Chosen would
remember
be
the video.
working undercover. So I had actually predicted this too. So I mean that could have also influenced a little bit how I watched it because to me,
Yeah,
I was seeing playing out what I was predicting because I remember really thinking that Chosen probably was going to be going undercover in some fashion. I didn't necessarily know it'd be the first episode at the
right.
end of the first episode, but yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the video now because I believe you even referenced that I had this theory even back to season 3.
Back, yeah,
So,
right, for a long time ago.
okay. Um, and I don't know, maybe subconsciously I was trying to work in like some sort of, anything with Chosen into this list somehow.
I see it. Yeah.
That could be it. Okay, so Devin, back to you for number 2.
So we talk about what the fuck. I have a deep connection with Miguelito. He is my favorite character. I will ride for him in any situation. I want him to be right all the time. I want him to have Sam and Tori, or as long as they're okay with it. I am a feminist first. So if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I want Miguelito to be happy for the rest of time. So our other co-host alluded to this and said that it wasn't a big deal to him. And I ain't gonna hold you. Season 4, episode is that season 4, episode 9, The Fall.
No.
Miguelito dies again. That's how I have it in my notes.
Ties again.
I yeah, I was like, they killed him again. I can't believe this show did it to me again. They build me up. This nigga, or sorry, this young man is whooping. Who's he fighting? Hawk,
He was supposed to
Yeah,
go
Hawk.
against Hawk.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Oh yeah,
And he
they did
go
fight. Yeah, right.
right. He's doing this unbelievable movie dream uh thing that he did while he was in his coma. I'm like, I feel you, family. I feel you. And then they say, oh, you're gonna feel something. Crack. And he just falls to the ground. And I said, no, you did it. And I was like, so that's my number two.
Yeah, similar
right.
to my reaction. No, you didn't. Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah,
And
I
crack,
like that.
which
Yeah.
was apparently pulled muscle when I went crack.
Right.
I was just glad he was alive.
Right.
I was. Did I mention that I love Miguelito? Have
Yes.
I missed off?
It came
I
up, I
love
think. Yeah.
this guy. I love this guy. He can't do any wrong. On the other hand, Robbie, piece of shit.
Okay. All right. Watch Party, you already commented on that because you had that.
Mhm.
Do you what do you have for number two?
Let's see. My number two, season 5, episode 9, Survivors. The party van veers back and forth, getting out of control, and it may not make it. Will our hero survive? Tune in next episode.
Right. All
Yeah,
right.
Next week
definitely.
on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I think the big cliffhanger of season 5 was the hangover between episodes 9 and 10. It was probably the best one. I mean, that's something we can even talk about, the 9 and 10 combos or something. But like, yeah, it really like started veering off. It's done so well. It's written and edited so well, where it talks about Kim Da-yoon saying, you know, what are you going to do with the enemies, or what if they stop you? And he's like, I won't let that happen. And then it cuts to that, and of course, the viewer, you assume that this is Terry Silver's work via the editing and writing. But of course, we learn later that it wasn't. But really, really fun, great moment with it. And also, what's the word I'm looking for? Juxtaposed with the music, because they're singing the song and stuff. And it's the big funny moment. So
I'm gonna jump in right now. This is actually my number one.
I thought it may be.
Yeah. Basically everything that you said, but this is probably the one that I had the what the fuck moment. Everything else was like, oh shit. So
Mhm.
this one is like, well, no, I need to see what's happening. Like it could have been 5:30 in the morning, and I could have worked at 7. I'm like, I need to see what happens in this finale, just because everything was just riding so high, right? We just saw this amazing club scene with everybody, and then we saw like Anush and Louis hugging it out. They're in a stretched limo. Chosen was drinking, had that phone call to Kumiko. Just all the positive feels, and they're rocking out to Eye of the Tiger. And, Johnny is drunk, air drumming. Just having a good ass time. And then all of a sudden, the doors are locked. They can't get out. And yeah, all the voiceover between Silver and Sensei Kim is just it's intense. A lot of suspense. Just gave me all the feels. And yeah, it just everything you said. Watch Party, Devin.
I couldn't think of a third honorable mention, but I think y'all just gave me one
Okay.
because I don't know how I just didn't get that, but now that you hear y'all talk about it, yeah, I was hooked. I was hooked like a fish. Yeah, so I'll put that as my third honorable mention.
Okay. All right. So in that case, we will wrap back to Devin for your number one and finish up with those, and then we'll get into honorable mentions.
Now,
you want to do your two, Peter?
Well, I'll do that.
For your last one,
flip flop it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess I could just do it just to finish up two, and then we'll end it with Watch Party. Okay. So my number two is from season 4, episode 8, Party Time. It's basically Stingray's Beat Down by Terry Silver, because it just keeps going. It just like a freaking Energizer bunny, just keeps going and going and going. Like and I'm just like, covering my eyes, like, please let it stop. But Terry Silver just keeps going and beating him down. And just right before this, we already had like the gut punch of Johnny calling Miguel Robbie. I love you too, Robbie. So we just had that. And then we had, so we had an emotional sequence followed by a very violent beatdown to a guy who most people really don't like. And I feel the majority of people, I would hope that they felt bad for him in this moment, regardless how you felt about him.
Did in the moment, did you know why he was beating him up? Did y'all ever like, okay, he's doing this to set up? What did he end up setting up? I forgot.
No, I don't think I thought that.
Put it together.
But he's drinking, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
was how I thought of it. Yeah,
it is almost and the way it's cut, it reminded me of like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. When he's like talking to himself and stuff.
Never seen Lord of the Rings.
Okay, but I do remember when Stingray walked in the dojo. I remember like one of my reactions was just kind of like, no, get out, backpedal, like leave. This is not the time. But I didn't know if I knew
what the plan
Terry was
was
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in hindsight, then you kind of see, like the first time Terry laid eyes on Stingray, it's when Kreese basically like kicks him out of the dojo, like get out of here. We're training for a tournament, and all these things. So yeah, crazy. Okay, so Devin, back to you for your number one.
So I as I mentioned, I love a certain character. So Peter, I want to bounce to you. What do you think my number one is? Just it has to do with obviously Miguelito.
Oh,
after my number
210.
You got dang right. No mercy. They killed this nigga. Oh, I'm sorry. They killed Miguelito. How could you do this?
It's funny you say that because there's a lot of people that actually thought that, but also think about us that watched it live, where we had to wait a year and a half to wait to see what happened.
I promise you, if they would have did that shit to me, I mean, he was on
He's the lead kid.
He had
He's the lead kid.
Then when you go to season 3, and I watched the next episode, so the dude that he didn't look like himself. I'm like, did they replace him? I'm like, what happened to him? Right. Like, is that just me?
No. It was a whole year and a half. I mean, think about Anthony, right? Like, it's the same actor.
Oh yeah, he stopped eating Whopper Juniors.
Exactly.
Right. So. I was like, who is this guy? And what have they done with Miguelito? I was flabbergasted. But oh my gosh, the fact that I want to say that Robbie is a piece of human garbage for doing what he did. I just want to reiterate that because I feel like we haven't said that on this pod enough.
But that wasn't his intent, right? To kick him off the railing. Like,
what was his intent?
Well, he kicked him, but I don't think he wanted him to go
Peter,
over like that.
Come on, buddy.
I don't know if he explains it in episode 5 of season 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did he want to do?
It.
What he said?
Remember when they were fighting again on the second floor?
Yeah, he stopped.
Apartments.
Yeah, when they became. I think we just became best friends. What happened? What did he say? I don't remember.
Sparty, can you fill in? I kind of forget the dialogue.
Like, why did you hold back? Because Robbie asked him, why did you hold back or something? And he's like, I didn't get into karate to hurt people. I got in it to be badass and defend myself, I think is the line essentially. I'm not really entirely sure I agree with that, but that's what he says.
Like, and then he's like, in our review.
Yeah, and then but then Miguel basically throws it back to him, throws it back to Robbie. Why didn't you hold back? And Robbie, I think, says something along the lines of like he basically forgot where he was.
Tunnel vision.
You know what really was is he's a bitch ass dude. And he was in his fucking feelings because he couldn't, handle his relationship. And he was mad that all the ladies love Miguelito. And so that's what it was. It was hurting people. Look, just because your tail is tucked between your legs and you ain't got no girl no more, and he found out Sam kissed Miguelito, he was all in his feelings. That was some fuck boy shit. He is a piece of garbage. I don't believe that at all.
Okay. All right, that's fair. You're entitled to your own opinion.
Y'all, am y'all not with me?
Did he get over it? Do you buy that he's over it now? Now that he's hooking up with Tori, and so now he doesn't care.
First off, if you can't get over it with Tori, you're never getting over it. Look,
he's a fan of Tori.
I would do any amount of things to just be in presence with that woman. Okay, I love her. So, I mean, I ain't gonna say that. Right on. I love her.
All right.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
fair enough.
I love her.
So were you rooting for Miguel and Tori then in season 2 when they were kind of seeing each other?
I want everyone with Miguel.
Okay.
I'd be with Miguel. Look, if I was gay, I'd be with Miguel.
Okay. All right.
We did an episode of Man Crushes.
Yes.
Number 3. He's up to number 3 on my my man crush list now.
Really? Sholo made up into your top 5 man crushes.
Interesting. He is. I mean, it's the hair. He's so dreamy.
He is dreamy. He's a DJ. Do you prefer Sholo with the beard or without?
No, without. I like a boyish good look.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
That didn't sound creepy, did it?
Well, I'll leave you with that. Watch Party is your number 1.
I had the same one, so
okay,
that's it. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So no, it's quite all right. So Devin, we'll go back to you and just go ahead and recap your top 5 and go ahead and get into your honorable mentions.
So number 5, season 5, episode 10, Head of the Snake, and all that. Guy walks down the street like nothing happened. Season 3, episode 10, December 19th, where they wrap up. They're gonna duke it out at the All Valley. Robbie is officially with Kreese and is his son now, apparently. No one slaps the tape out of his mouth. Okay. Season 1, episode 1, Johnny realizes, hey, you know what? I'm finna start this whole show, and I'm in. We're all in. I'm ready for the ride. I was hooked. Like, when this dude went to his shitty apartment, I just want to say I was hooked there. But, I love Johnny. I love Johnny, too. Did I say that?
Yeah,
not yet. Yeah.
He's right under Miguelito. Okay. Love Johnny. His humor is great.
You like peak Johnny, huh? Like when he talks about like Shrimpo Sensei loving sake bombs and stuff.
Right. Like he's brash and unapologetic about it. Like he doesn't like if you mention cancel culture to Johnny, he'd be like, fuck you and drink a beer in your face. Like
yes.
So like I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Season 4, episode 9, they kill Miguelito a second time. Mm-hmm. And season 2, episode 10, No Mercy, the first time. Like, come on, man.
Okay. And then your honorable mentions?
So I couldn't think of a third one. Y'all gave me the third one with the
509.
The limo. I got so I had to fit Tori in here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta fit her in here.
Okay.
I didn't write that in the episode though. But when we get the reveal that she's working with Kreese to help him, so I was like
504.
Said 5.
Yeah, right. That's right. 504. It's it's the end of Downward Spiral.
Okay, yeah. I'm like Tori.
That's
okay,
one,
I get it. I love Tori. Did I mention that?
Yes.
A couple of times. Right. You also mentioned how you would do anything, or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Anything.
Yes.
And the other one was the link up to go back to Johnny's and them being a terrible parent. So.
What was it?
Where Sam and Robbie go to Johnny. Okay. Yeah.
209.
And then we
had too.
Yeah. Then we go to the episode where they get it on in his apartment. Also, you know what? Can we pour one out for Johnny's TV? Because I was so hurt.
Every season.
Right. Like it took forever for this dude to really get a flat screen. And then Danny got so much money. And for him to just come to the projects of California and do that to Johnny's apartment, I would have sued him for everything, and I own one of those car dealerships. I promise you, family. I wouldn't have got no minivan. That's all I've said.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I mean, to be fair,
He came into this
Ro-
thing. He came into this
he
man's
took the
house.
well, yeah, I mean, he took the van because he got it from Robbie, right? Because Robbie got it stolen,
I'm
and
telling
then he
you, if I'm Johnny and a broke boy doing Uber Eats and DoorDash deliveries, and as many times as one his daughter, what was it? Was that season one where they hit Johnny, Sam and her friends, her
Yeah, it's the
delinquent
first
friends?
episode. It's the
yeah,
first
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
episode.
see,
He T-bones in the first episode. Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
it's
like
it starts the whole thing.
right. I knew that because I'm in deep in the fandom. I was just checking to see if y'all was on y'all's P's and
yeah,
Q's.
that's
But
it.
yeah. From that point on, I see you own a dealership. I ain't getting no charger. I'm getting all the chargers.
It's a good point. Yeah, he could have gotten another one. But the other thing with the van though is kind of a nod to Bill and Ted, who also drove a green van with a very similar graffiti of the Wild Stallions on their van, where this one is the Eagle Fang. So what look as funny as on another Charger or Challenger.
Mm. How can you go from a Challenger, the Challenger to a minivan?
Johnny, it's funny. That's why.
It is, but come on, bruh.
All right,
I'm
watch my
sorry.
recap. No, it's all right. Recap your top five and then your
All
honorable
right.
mentions. Yep.
5, season 4, episode 9, The Fall. Miguel breaks his back again. As season 1, episode 3, Esquilito. Johnny finds Miguel beat up by Kyler and the gang. Season 2, episode 9, Pulpo. Which by the way, I said that in a video once, and I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. And I got so many comments from people, dude, this guy doesn't know how to pronounce Pulpo. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought we all said Pulpo. Okay.
I don't know. I have to look back what video that was, but I got all these people telling me I pronounced it wrong. But Robbie shows up at Johnny's apartment with the pass out drunk Sam. Season 5, episode 9, Survivors, the party van veering out of control in an apparent assassination. Season 2, episode 10, No Mercy. Miguel breaks his back and may not make it. I realized I didn't quite say why I thought this was my number one. Just because, it is the oh shit moment, the what the hell. And I think like it's better than the fandom gives it credit for. Like I think that about season 2, because as the show has gone on, people like often rank season 2 at the bottom, but like remember season 2 like carried us for over a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like it was such a strong, it was such a strong cliffhanger. It carried the fandom through that extended delay.
Is that not the best episode of the series, or do people disagree with
I
that?
don't know. I don't know if I would say the best episode of the series, but definitely like the best cliffhanger. I think like if there was a moment for the show to delay an hour and a half and then go to Netflix, I think, season 2 was the best spot for that.
Actually, episode 9 is the fight. So that all runs together. Sorry.
They kind of do nines and tens. And
Right.
actually, I forgot to mention this when you mentioned December 19th. Just because episodes 9 and 10 usually run in together, that like when you said that, I thought your cliffhanger was when Johnny walks into the country club and sees Daniel talking to Allie already. And then you started talking about the fight. I'm like, oh, that's right. That was in episode 10.
Yeah.
9 was when, that's when we see Johnny seeing Daniel again. So, and then your
I
other
didn't think that could qualify as a cliffhanger, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. I would say
because
so.
Daniel's the villain there, and that's in that moment. But anyway, honorable mentions. I do have only one because I'm more strict with my definitions.
Yes.
I think. Plus, just so the listeners know, like when we were talking about this, Peter's like, "Well, let's do 5 honorable mentions," and I was like, "Well, why don't you just make it a top 10 list?" And Peter was like, "No." And then I don't know. So Peter came down to 3. I have 1. But anyway, it's season 1, episode 10, Mercy, when Kreese crashes Johnny's somber celebration. So yeah, you had that, I think, is your number 5. I put it as the honorable mention.
All right. So we have a lot of crossovers just in different orders. So my number 5 was season 1, episode 10, Mercy. Again, Kreese walking in when I thought he was dead. Episode 9 of season 2, Pulpo. Robbie showing up with Drunk Sam. Season 5, episode 1, where we find Chosen inside the Cobra Kai dojo as a mole for the episode Mole. Number 2 was episode 8, season 4, Party Time. Stingray getting beat by Terry Silver. And my number 1 episode cliffhanger was Survivors from season 5, episode 9, the limo debacle. My honorable mentions: 109, Different but Same. That's season 1, episode 9. That was shortly after Johnny getting his car blown up. I feel maybe people don't think about that one as often because they
Oh,
kind of think
I
about,
kept thinking about what part are you what is the cliffhanger for you though?
just I guess maybe it's not the, yeah, I guess maybe this is why it's in honorable mentions, because it is more of like the moment, right? The exploding car. You're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next now? Because Johnny drives off in that motorcycle, and then the next morning we see him in the backyard of the LaRussos.
Wait,
So
you're
that's maybe.
thinking of molting though. You have the wrong episode.
Are you
You're
sure?
thinking of 108
Oh crap!
because 109 is the one where
I
he
have,
shows
yeah,
up in the morning. Yeah,
that's right, that's right. Because
10 is the tournament.
10
Is that where
opens
they
up with
have
the
breakfast?
montage.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So 9 is breakfast. So same episode, wrong title and stuff. So yeah, it's 108 molting. My bad.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And my second honorable mention was season 2, episode 10, No Mercy, Miguel falling,
Mhm.
obviously.
Only an
And
honorable mention. Jeez.
I well, it
So not
That cut
everyone
me.
here loves Mega. How do you
Miguelito.
Miguelito?
Miguelito. Yeah, yeah. No, I
Also,
mean,
this is a
yeah.
cause for divorce.
Oh,
No, I mean it's
the divorce
it's
is mutual
definitely worth
now.
mentioning.
Right.
It
I
was
had to get back
definitely
somehow.
a crazy end. Like that year and a half of new people finding the show and then finding us on social media or whatever, just talking about like Miguel possibly dying. I go, well, they're not going to kill the main kid. At least this dude, they're not going to do it. So, um, yeah, I. I mean, Devin, you sat here thinking that he died, so I guess I'll just leave it at
Right.
that. So my last honorable mention is from season 3, episode 4, The Right Path, when Daniel's having a moment with Kumiko and things all seem to be fine and dandy until Chosen walks in. That's the cliffhanger. Like, oh, we
Yo,
don't know if
I
he's
That
forgot
changed.
is,
about that.
that is a good one. That is a
I
good one.
did forget about that. I don't know
Uh,
if I was texting you or shout out to Liz. But I'm like, see, black men don't cheat. And so I'm like, Danny, what are you doing? You about to cheat on your wife? That's what I was thinking. I mean,
I never thought that.
He
I
was
never thought
no, I
no,
that.
didn't think it either.
me
But
neither.
there is a deleted,
Cut scene, yeah.
yeah, where they kind of touch hands a little bit on the table.
What
Yeah.
is it? Isn't there a cut scene of them dancing?
I believe from that same episode, like earlier
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
episode. Yeah.
yeah.
He went
But
to a whole nother country, didn't tell his wife, like, this is wild. Like,
yeah.
that's at least questionable.
I mean, and they gave those moments to Johnny too, right? With
Mhm.
Allie. And he was seeing Carmen. So like, yeah, it's kind of interesting that I wonder if maybe Ralph had a say in it as to like maybe, he didn't want that for Daniel. I don't know. It is
Scale it
interesting though.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but and
I've
maybe
never cheated, though. I want to reiterate that, ladies. I don't cheat. Black men don't cheat.
duly noted.
Right.
Okay, all right. Well, everybody had a great list. Devin, thank you so much for coming on to the show and
A lot of
I
fun.
appreciate it.
yeah,
Peter's like, let me
sharing your
get this
opinion.
over with because I'm done with him. There's a reason why I ended our podcast. You see what happens, watch party? We get together and it'll be another 5 years before we podcast again.
Mhm.
So it was nice meeting you. Cobra Kai listeners, listen, companion listeners, I love Cobra Kai. Don't listen to Peter. My DMs are open if you want to reach out to me because I'll never be on this show again because Peter won't allow me. So it was nice
That's
meeting
not
y'all
true.
for the first time.
But
Back for the first time.
for those that do want to interact with you on social media, talk about your list, talk about their love for Miguelito, where can they find you on the interwebs? And also, if you can talk about edit that out.
Aw. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Devin Lamar.
2 hours.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
See, still got that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my DMs are open, ladies. So, but yeah, you can find me weekly on the Edit That Out podcast on Spotify. All that stuff. We cover TV shows. Right now, we're covering Bel Air. We did Game of Thrones. We've done Atlanta, P Valley.
Did you do House of the Dragon?
House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you didn't do the actual Game of Thrones, right? You only did
Right.
the prequel. Okay. I
Right,
wanted to be clear
exactly.
because the Liquor Run podcast, you guys did Game of Thrones
Right.
there.
It always runs together. But yes, so we covered House of the Dragon. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate you. That's
Yeah,
what friends are for.
that's right.
Yeah, so it's a fun time. Yeah, come check us out.
There you go. Watch
I'm
party.
a
Do you
lot
got
more
any?
a lot more problematic on that show.
That's why it's called edit that out.
I'll check
Right.
it out.
Yeah, yeah. Watch party. Do you got any videos you're working on currently?
When I get back home, soon, yes, I will be, and hopefully soon enough. So,
From Montana?
well, maybe.
Mm. Say hi to
And
Kevin Costner for me and tell him that we're waiting on the second half of Yellowstone.
and
Okay.
that's Watch Party 1 on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
All right. Yes. For me, as of this recording, Michael Jonathan Smith, who we've had on the podcast a few times, he is show running the upcoming Peacock series Twisted Metal based on the video game from the 90s. They just released a poster today with Anthony Mackie in a car, and you see Sweet Tooth in the background. So they dropped the poster and also shared that tomorrow they will be releasing a teaser for the show. So I'm really excited about that, and you guys can expect an episode in the next few days to kind of talk about the teaser and the poster and meet Tyler, who will be covering Twisted Metal with me. But also on the topic of Cobra Kai, we kind of missed it at the top of the show, is the only other bit of news really, Watch Party, correct me if I'm wrong, is just Hayden's picture that he tweeted out today or
Yes,
shared on social media.
and then John recently shared it as well. It was on
And
Twitter,
Josh,
so. Josh,
a few of them have been sharing it right before we started recording. But basically, it's the writers' room, so a lot of very familiar faces. One of the new ones was Chris Rafferty, who I believe John might have even retweeted him when he took to Twitter to kind of announce that he was part of the show. And there were some of the other writers that couldn't return as well, and so there's two other faces that who I've never seen before, and currently I don't know their names, but the most of the gang is back. So we're really happy to see all that, and obviously welcome the additions of the new faces as well. So they should some of the actors should be arriving to Atlanta pretty soon. Frank Homer posted a picture of Mr. Miyagi's cars inside a building. So that was really nice to see as well. So yeah, really exciting stuff. Hopefully we see some things pretty soon. You can find me all over social media. Companion Network on Instagram. I've been sharing some things there. That's also the website that still gets directed to CobraKaiCompanion.com. If you guys want to check out my coverages of School Spirits, written by Sarah. That's the show starring Peyton List on Paramount Plus. So a lot of things coming. Obliterated. There's still no news on that. Just in post production, but at the very least, Twisted Metal coverage coming here in the next couple of months, I would imagine. So that's it. And thanks everybody for tuning in to this episode, and we'll see you guys next time. This is part of the Companion Network.